What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video. Now we're playing Liverpool on Sunday in a what I would call a Champions League place clash, Chris.
It is as well. Oh, what's going on?
Which is crazy, yeah. Obviously, I'm joined by the fantastic Chris Page at Redmen TV. First of all, Chris, how are you? How's lockdown been treating you?
Lockdown's been shit. Homeschooling's horrendous. Thankfully, I was saying to you off camera before that the kids are back in school and stuff, but it's not been helped by the fact that Liverpool have been a bag of wank either, to be honest with you, Nicky. Up until Thursday when we played Tottenham, we hadn't won in 2021. In fact, it was the 19th of December when we last got our win. It's just been diabolical because it's the thing that we all love, whether you're a Liverpool fan, whether you're a West Ham fan or a fan of another club, especially during this time with the COVID-19 and the pandemic and everything. It's like that one thing that's still regular and still semi-normal, and it's that one bit of enjoyment that you can kind of get. And we've not been getting the enjoyment there, and it's just made everything else seem so much worse, to be honest with you, mate.
Well, it's unprecedented for you guys. I mean, you've gone so long. You've been fantastic for so long. Lost very, very few games in the last couple of seasons. All of a sudden, you've hit this sort of bad patch. Now, I did watch the game last night, of course, and you looked a little bit back to the to your old self. I see the front three started to get their cogs moving again. But what sort of Liverpool are West Ham going to come and face on Sunday?
Well, to be honest with you, I think it's a very similar Liverpool side to the one that played and beat Tottenham Hotspur. I think, there's obviously going to be something at the back. I think, it's probably unlikely that Fabinho will start this game. He was a late injury before the game. Obviously, Joel Matip goes out at half-time. Klopp saying it's not as serious as we first feared, but that still could be a month or 2 months that he's going to be gone for. So I'd imagine one of the youngsters, Nat Phillips, probably, maybe Reece Williams comes in to play alongside Jordan Henderson. And then the only other change really from Tottenham probably is I'm not expecting Milner to play a third game in 7 days at 35 years old. So I'd expect someone, maybe a Kurt Jones, to come into the middle of the park, or, maybe a Shaqiri, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain. For me, it'd be Kurt Jones anyway. So, but we're a side that's been devoid of confidence the last 5 weeks, and we get a couple of goals against Manchester United. We obviously got knocked out of the cup, Nicky, but there was at least something that you could hang your hat on as a fan. I mean, scoring a goal was nice. It was about bloody 648 minutes, I think it was, between goals in the Premier League for us, which is just ridiculous when we've got players at our disposal like we have. But as you mentioned, and I think quite rightly, the front three played really well. Sadio Mane finding that space, Roberto Firmino dropping deep and looking to play lads in. Mo Salah doesn't get on the score sheet, maybe could have. One obviously gets disallowed, but a couple of nice balls through to Mane as well. So hopefully we can kick on and use that as a foundation for or a springboard for the rest of the season, mate.
What have you made of West Ham this season? Because we are we're getting nosebleed, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know me, mate. I don't watch a lot of football outside of Liverpool anymore, so I tend to see the teams on Match of the Day and stuff. But from certainly the last sort of few weeks, you're beating the teams that you should be beating, and Everton as well, which is nice. But that's something that Liverpool have struggled to do, isn't it? I mean, I only just found out, I think it was today actually, that you'd sold Haller. Obviously, you're getting a tune out of, is it Souček? Is that how you say it?
Oh yeah.
In the sense of, I mean, you're getting a tune out of him at the moment. Am I right in saying he's your top scorer and looks like a little bit of a player? That two-man midfield looks to be really quite balanced at the moment. You'll be able to...
He scored more goals than Sadio Mane this season.
He scored 7 this season, has he?
Mm.
Wow. That's insane, mate. But look, I think...
Defensive midfielder.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it? I mean, Moyes is certainly getting a tune. And as you say, you give him bloody nose to teams and well-drilled sides. And I think... maybe punching a little bit above your weight, but that's not to say that it's going to stop.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Moyes is the thing is you'll notice about West Ham. I mean, I'm normally on these sort of shows complaining about something, and we've had a couple of chats over the last couple of times about training grounds and fucking things like that. But let's be fair, none of that's changed. It's David Moyes. He's come in. I think. Now, I wasn't a massive fan of David Moyes, but I think he's got a little bit of a point to prove. He's proven that he still is a Premier League standard manager. He took 2 real bad jobs in Sunderland and a job in Spain, and I think he's sort of like, because this was his last chance to learn. But what he has done, Chris, is, I think you'll find, is he's rejuvenated that dressing room. He's given people belief. He's given players belief. He's given fans belief, and he's made us a real solid side, a bit like Liverpool were when Klopp came in. That all of a sudden want to work for each other and want to play games and don't want to go hiding and everything else. And we're a tough team to beat, which is, I think, is all we can ask for. As a side of our sort of stature, mid-table side who've been threatened with relegation over the last couple of years. We're a tough. He's made us tough to beat, and we've got belief. And I'll tell you, going into this Sunday, I'm normally the biggest pessimist going, but you're gonna laugh at this, and I know Liverpool fans will laugh at this, but we was begging for you to get through that cup because we fancied ourselves up at Anfield, and we was looking at the Sunday. We're starting to look up the league rather than down, and it's stupid because it's going to derail at some point. But we fancy ourselves, and I don't think it's just because it's Liverpool. I mean, it's very tough for Liverpool because it's always tougher defending a championship than it is winning the championship, if that makes sense. Because everyone, you get that bullseye on your back that you become the target. Everyone wants to decipher how you've done that and how you've become so good, and you become bigger targets. But we fancy it, and if we can win this somehow, I don't know how, but if we can win it somehow, then I'll tell you what, I don't know where the roller coaster stops.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? It's just a mad season, and for the most part, I mean, I've not taken enjoyment out of this season in the same way that I would do, and I think a lot of people might point to that because of Liverpool's form. It's not, to be honest with you, Nicky, and I'd be sat here if we were top of the league telling you that it's just not the same without fans. It's just not it doesn't feel like we're watching the same sport. The intensity is not there from every side, I believe, at the moment, but what West Ham are doing, which you've got to recognise and you've got to respect, is they're taking advantage of a mad season, and because the season is so crazy, and because bottom of the league are beating Manchester United when they've barely put a glove on anybody, you've just got to do well, and you've just got to get that consistency. And for all that Manchester City are doing, and they look the team to beat right now, West Ham have won 4 games on the back in the Premier League, and I think Man City are the only side to win 5 games on the back in the Premier League this season. So West Ham have got consistency, and that will fly you up the league right now because no one else is able to achieve that. So what Moyes is doing, you do have to give a respect to him for it, because there's only one other manager in the league, and it's Pep Guardiola, who's been able to maintain that consistency over a spell of games, and Moyes has done it.
Yeah, a lot of credit has to go to them, but this is the thing about this West Ham side now. As I say, if we all season we was terrible against Newcastle, and we've lost other games, but we've at least given everyone a game. We gave you a game, we give you a little bit of a fright, not just this season, but last season as well. The Chelsea one was a 3-0, but I don't think that was a 3-0 game. We should have beat Manchester United. We've absolutely pasted them in the first half. We should have scored 4 or 5. It was just, and that's the thing that worries me about this West Ham side, is that lack of killer instinct. Because if we can learn to score goals, then I'll tell you what, we could win that fucking Premier League. And I know that sounds stupid, but obviously we've got no striker. We're always going to miss chances, which is going to inevitably cost us games, which will end up, putting us down, possibly into a European place at the end of the season. But if we can learn to score goals, we'd be a force to be reckoned with. But getting back to the game, Chris, what do you reckon this Sunday? You must be worried. You must be a little bit nervous about it.
I'm not anymore, mate, and it doesn't take a lot for my mood to sort of swing and to change, to be honest with you, because I clearly respect what West Ham are doing so far this season, but I know that if Liverpool can get back to it and play, I think at the level that we played against Tottenham, then I think that Liverpool can win the game. And I always have that confidence in our side, because they've had a blip, and it was a big blip, for us, and we've had a stumble, but we're getting back up, and you can feel that sort of that intensity was there last night, and that drive, and there was question marks over the hunger of this side, and I think they've put them to bed over the last two games with the performances that they've put on the pitch. So I do think that it's must win for Liverpool if we want to challenge for the league title, but I think that every game is must win for Liverpool. So there's no, for me, there's no room for error anymore, and we've got to we've got to earn the right to be in a title race now. And to do that, we're going to have to put a run of games together. And it starts with West Ham. It obviously starts against Tottenham. But I think for us now, we've just got to go and try and play our natural game. And I think, you've got to recognise that West Ham are going to be hard to beat. You've got to recognise that it's going to be hard to score against them. But if our players play to the best of their ability, I still think we're the better side.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that gives us confidence, I mean, I was on Redmen TV a good few years ago now, just before you signed Van Dijk, and I said, you need a good keeper, you need a good defender, and then you're going to challenge for the league, and you challenged and then won. But once that foundation comes away, and you've had a lot of injuries there over the last few months, that gives me a little bit of confidence to say, yeah, they've got an excellent front three, but we can cause them problems up top if we're winning.
You're absolutely right, because what made Liverpool great, I think, over the last 2 years is consistency. And it's not just consistency of results, it's consistency of team, and we had that back five and we had the front three and we rotated. We chose to rotate the middle of the park, but everyone knew their role. We haven't got that consistency. So that's why the results aren't there. That's why we're not getting consistent results. So, any team at the moment, it feels like can cause us danger. We go through the game and we nearly get a goal against Tottenham really early, but then Tottenham nearly get a goal against us, almost straight away a minute later. And that's it. We've had a bit of a soft underbelly at the moment because we're missing our 2 centre-halves, and we'll be missing probably our top 4 centre-halves for this game. And, so everybody else has to stand up and be counted. And I think even if we are to play at the best of our ability, I don't have confidence that we're going to be able to keep clean sheets anymore. And if you can't keep clean sheets, it's very difficult to win games consistently, isn't it? And that's why West Ham have got a chance in this one.
Absolutely, Chris. Thank you so much. If you haven't gone over, check out the Redmen TV. We'll be doing a video over there just shortly. So yeah, go and check them out. Subscribe to them. Check out all our match reactions after the match on Sunday. We'll be doing a watch along, of course, as we do every match day. But other than that, Chris, thank you very much. I've gone a bit blurry, but thank you very much. One thing left for me to say: come on, you Irons.